Morning.
All right. Warren Fiscal Court, Friday, February 11th, 2022 is now called to order. I'd like to ask Esquire Doug Gorman to lead us in prayer, and he'll immediately lead us in the pledge to the flag. Afterwards, I ask everyone to stand for that. Esquire Gorman.
Thank you. Bow with me, Father. Thank you so much for this day. This is the day that you knew would be here, the abundant sunshine you've provided for our beautiful county, Lord. But I would ask that you would be with each member of this fiscal court, with all the residents of Warren County. Be with them, Lord, through this weekend. Be with them on the devastating things that have happened in the last 2 months in our county. But Lord, we're just so thankful for what has transpired from the worst day, one of the worst days in the history of Warren County, to some of the best days that we've all come together to take care of our fellow man like you've asked us to do. Lord, I ask you to watch over the proceedings of this court this morning, to have each of us do things that will be pleasing to you. Lord, I ask all these things in your precious Son, Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Let's face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Esquire Gorman. Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire Gorman.
Here.
Esquire Payne.
Here.
Esquire Young.
Here.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire McWhorter.
Here.
Okay. I've asked Ms. Mateen with the Small Business Administration to give us a report on where we are and how much longer you're going to be around.
Thank you so much. I know you all are really really quickly. For me, the physical deadline has been extended. We found that out yesterday late evening. So we will be here until March 13th. Again, survivors have until March 13th now to submit their application with FEMA, their application with SBA. I talked to many business owners yesterday, and it's a great thing that we are hanging around because a lot of them really needed, that personal help. The Disaster Recovery Center is still open in the Greenwood Mall at the old Sears location, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. So please go in and talk to someone face to face. Right now, the SBA has approved a little over $36 million in Kentucky. And I just wanted to give that quick update that the physical deadline has been extended. Please continue to submit those applications with FEMA and SBA. And thank you so much for letting me jump in there quickly this morning.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the good work you've been doing out there for the past couple of months and ongoing. And we appreciate all the fact that you've helped so many people in our community.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
All righty. We need to approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting of January 21st. Motion by Esquire Cummings, second by Esquire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We need to approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department.
So moved.
Motion by Esquire Young, second by Esquire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 6 is to approve personnel changes for Warren County.
So moved.
Motion by Esquire Young. Esquire Payne. He's disguising his voice as Esquire Young. And second by Esquire Gorman. Any questions, discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 7 is to approve Resolution 2203, Resolution of the County of Warren, Kentucky, authorizing and approving the issuance of Warren County, Kentucky taxable industrial building revenue bonds in one or more series in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $360 million, proceeds of which shall be used to finance the acquisition, construction, and equipping of an industrial building as defined in KRS 103-201 and leased to Tyson Processing Services, Inc., its affiliates, successors, and/or signs authorizing and approving a lease agreement, a payment in lieu of taxes agreement, and such other documents, certificates, agreements, and/or actions necessary or required for the issuance of these bonds and the financing of this project. Motion by Squire Gorman and second by Squire Lawrence. I know that all you all know this, but just for the record, I want to state that this $360 million of bonds that are sold the county has no obligation to. These are industrial revenue bonds that are written under the full faith and credit of the company itself. So it's underwritten on them, has no impact on us whatsoever. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Do you have anything else to add to that, Ms. Rosansky?
I would just, reiterate, as you said, Gil, make sure you have no obligation as a county. One, we are super excited about this project. This is a diversification for us since it is food. For those that were at the announcement, you know that they're going to make 100 million pounds of bacon a year from this facility, which, as they said there, will wrap around the globe 12 times. So this is very exciting, really great jobs for us. The largest announced project to date in our community. So $355 million project with 451 jobs. So very exciting. Thank you so much for your support. We could not do it without you.
Fantastic.
It is very exciting. It's a major diversification for us, in that we have no other manufacturing facilities like this in our community, and very few agriculture or food related in our region. There are a few, but not many. And we need the diversification a great deal. So anyway, is there no other questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 8 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2204, establishing Poplar Grove Lane, High Ridge Avenue, Poplar Grove Court, and Hermitage Lane located in Poplar Grove 1 and 2 subdivision as county roads, authorizing maintenance thereon and setting speed limits thereon.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings. Second by Squire Payne. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 9 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2205, amending the budget of Warren County.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Young. Second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Item number 10 is to approve the December 2021 Treasurers Report.
So moved. So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to grant Judge Executive authority to sign grant agreement for the Bowling Green Warren County Airport in the amount of $59,000. And this is part of the COVID relief grant. There's no direct cost to Warren County government.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings,
Second.
second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire McLaurin.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'll get him in just a second. Item number 12 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $1,398.01 to Mobile Communications for America for repairs to the jail's radio system. Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 13 is to approve the current Warren County Regional Jails Manual of Policy and Procedures. This is to comply with Kentucky jail standards. Anything at all, Jailer Harmon, that we need to know about this that isn't evident?
No, sir, there'll be some revisions this year, but as it stands, every January, I'm supposed to have you approve it as it stands.
Right.
There'll be some changes later in the year, and I'll bring those to the court.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion by Squire Cummings, second Squire McWhorter. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. If there are no objections from the court, I'd like to move on to number 42 first. This is to grant authority for Judge Executive to sign a 60-day extension request for Warren County Area Solid Waste Plan Annual Report to be submitted to State Recycling and Local Assistance Branch.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and with your all's permission, I'd like to go to 46, to grant authority to enter into negotiations with one or more companies who have proposed for franchises providing solid waste and/or recycling services in Warren County, appointing Stan Reagan, Josh Moore, and Sean Alcott to lead negotiations and report back to fiscal court on its solid waste committee. Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you say that Abraham?
Abraham's here. See him back there.
Abraham's hiding on the back row back here. Okay. Okay, and if it's okay with you guys, we're going to go to item number 39. We're just playing hopscotch here. Item number 39 is to grant judge executive authority to sign subaward agreement with the Housing Authority for a low-income housing project in the amount of $1 million. This money is paid for through ARPA funds and is no cost to the general fund of Warren County. Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Okay, let me just ask for the record, it is going through the Housing Authority right now, or do you want to report on that?
I'll say something.
Okay,
I'd like that,
We won't get out of here.
yeah,
That's pretty recent.
we don't have enough time for Abraham to speak.
Tell you about that
I've just passed it. I would like to, it pains me to say it, but how great Abraham does down there at the Housing Authority. But Judge, really, he's been working on this for quite a while, he and Katie, doing this. It's 40 lots of some homes that they use. Of course, we went out there and took a look at that. And this is through their Live the Dream nonprofit 501c3 that's a part of the Housing Authority. They will be in charge of this, and this money is going to go to infrastructure to develop that, and it's 40 lots right there. Abraham, you can come up and speak.
We're gonna put a
Keep
timer on you.
under 20 minutes, please, Abraham. But that's right. But no, we appreciate Abraham and all the work he's done, so if you could just give us an update there, that'd be great.
Y'all can relax. I'm gonna talk just as long as Mike talks. On behalf of the Housing Authority, thank you all so much for applying for this grant for us. This is not a grant. This is an investment in our people and also an investment in our neighborhood. We was overjoyed when we heard about about Sugar Maple Square. Coming there is gonna really just bring this neighborhood back to life. And now we're talking about taking 40 families, low to moderate income families, and moving into an affordable home. An affordable home will be between probably $150,000 to $180,000. And that's kind of hard to do in Bowling Green, Kentucky. First of all, I'd like to thank the entire commission and my friend Tom Lawrence, the best doggone magistrate this side of the Mississippi. And I'd like to do this time, Judge. I've worked with Doug on a lot of different projects, but he really stuck his neck out for us. He said, Abraham, call me if you need me, so I called him every Thursday for the last 8 months. And he said, you can stop calling me now. But again, Judge and Doug, thank you all so much for believing in us and believing in the Housing Authority. But most of all, thanks so much, all of you all, for investing in our community.
Thanks, Abraham.
Thank you, Abraham. And at the risk of giving you a bigger head than you already have, you do a great job down there. And truthfully, the other projects that we've worked on, participated with the Housing Authority on, have turned out to be fantastic investments in the community. And the Lord knows we need affordable housing right now more than ever. So we appreciate it, and we appreciate being able to be the conduit to bring this investment into our community. Now, that being said, does anyone oppose this? No. If there are no other questions, are there any other questions, seriously? If there are none, please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Motion passes.
Judge, for sake of Ms. Johnson, 41 is the one I was sort of referred to. She can get her out of here. We move that up.
Sorry. Item number 41. Again, no objections. Approve the renewal of the workforce coordinator contract with the Bowling Green, Warren County Chamber of Commerce. This is one that we've funded for the last several years. It has been tremendously effective and helpful with the SCK launch and other initiatives through the chamber. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Rosansky.
I'm on board.
Okay, we'll go back to the original order here. Approve the CPI increase from Aramark for food cost as prescribed in the jail's current contract.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 15 is to approve first reading of ordinance 2206, rezoning property located at 0 Dow Ford from agriculture and residential estate to single-family residential containing approximately 84.113 plus or minus acres and presently owned by Big Reedy Enterprises, LLC, Elizabeth Sigler and Barry Woosley. Motion by Squire Cummings.
Second.
Second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve first reading of ordinance 2207, rezoning property located at 4693 Hydro Pondsville Road, a portion of, from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately 1.70 plus or minus acres and presently owned by Randy and Danita Russell.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve a determination in the amount of $4,752 for 144 folding chairs for meeting rooms at the gyms from CPG of Bowling Green. This are at White, Buchanan, and Moore gyms.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 18 is to approve determination in the amount of $2,238 to Aztec Flooring for $2 for the new tennis facility.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
The next item is to approve first reading of ordinance 2208, authorizing a lighting agreement between Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation and Stagner Farms Phase 1.
So moved.
Motion by Squire McWhorter. Second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 20 is to approve contract with Schmidt Consulting for grant writing and administration for Warren County in the amount of $3,250 per month. This is a one-year contract. This plus travel cost, airfare, hotel, and meals.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne. Second, Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? At the next meeting, I'll have a report for you the amount of grants that she is administering and the ones that we've received just in this past year.
They should have a copy of that.
Pardon me?
They should have a copy of that. I gave it to them.
You gave it to them already? Okay.
Got it.
You've got it. Okay, good. All right, then. You've got it today, and you don't have to wait.
You're ahead of yourself.
Okay, if there are no questions?
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 21 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $4,039.60 to Boyd Cat for repairs to the Cat 140 HNA grader. This is labor cost for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire Young. Second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion. Questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve a payment in the amount of $48,475 to the Warren County Sheriff's Department for upgrade on their CAD software.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve continuation of Stormwater Management's Red is Green sponsorship and IMG College LLC at a cost of $5,000 per year for 3 years, and this is paid for through Stormwater Management funds. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve Resolution 2204, CDBG CV Utility Assistance Project 20C 165.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
The next item is to grant Judge Executive Authority to sign a lease agreement with the City of Bowling Green for a Dart 4 Hazmat WMD technical rescue truck and trailer for technical rescues within Warren County.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 26 is to approve termination in the amount of $14,244 to Sigma Organics for ball field maintenance products. This will be to prepare the park system for spring baseball and software activities. There were 3 quotes received, and this was the lowest and best quote. Pardon me?
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes,
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne. Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve the Kentucky Department of Corrections inspections reports from an inspection conducted on December 16, 2021, and corrective action plans as accepted by the Kentucky Department of Corrections.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne.
Second.
Second by Squire Cummings. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Approve first reading of ordinance 2210, amending the electrical permit fee.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions?
What is the amendment? Well, since we don't have the.
Mr. Moore?
Didn't print out, Josh.
So, most of you all remember up until about 2017 into 2018, Warren County utilized a private contractor to handle electrical inspection fees. When we took that back over and brought that service in-house, we utilized the same fee structure and process as was in place at that time, just for ease of transition for our electricians. The downside to that, if you want to call it a downside, is that we were billing after the fact. The work was being performed, and then we were invoicing because that's how it was done in the past. What we're doing now is revising that fee structure so that the cost stays essentially the same, but it brings it in line with the same process we do on our building permits. So now we've got a uniform system. They'll function the same way. You apply for a building permit, works the same as you apply for an electrical permit. It also brings it in line with the way the state operates, the way the city operates, just as to try to bring some continuity and make things fairly easy to understand in between jurisdictions.
Any questions, comments?
Josh.
Okay. We have a motion and second.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and call the roll, please.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 29 is to approve payment to the Kentucky State Treasurer in the amount of $1,100 for the yearly inspection of 11 elevators at the Warren County Justice Center.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Young. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire
Yes,
McWhorter.
ma'am.
Item number 30 is to approve change order 28 for Scott, Murphy, and Daniel in the amount of $5,541 for changes in the concession stand area at the new tennis facility.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne,
Second.
second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank Chris for his hard work on this because between him and the contractors, we brought this charge way down. And we really appreciate all the work on this. Approve FEMA DR 4630 for information relating to disaster assistance for individuals who reside in Warren County. Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 32 is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $8,246.25 to Stryker Company for the purchase of 3 AEDs for the Warren County Regional Jail. This is the same machine that's used by the Medical Center EMS and will provide capability in the event of a cardiac emergency. This is paid for through the Warren County Regional Jail Canteen Fund, and there's no cost to the general fund of Warren County. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
The next item is to grant judge executive authority to sign deed to the 1143 through 1145 State Street parking lot at the old Planning and Zoning Building. Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 34 is to approve the increase to $75 for monthly meetings to the Warren County Board of Elections officers. Currently, they are paid $25 for the monthly meetings. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to grant authority for the Warren County Jailer to sign Southern Health Partners Contract Amendment for 2022 in the amount of $90,917.23 monthly. Yes, sir. Jailer Harmon.
We're going to try to answer some questions. This is outside of the jail's salaries for all the staff. This is one of the biggest contracts, this and the food, which you saw the CPI increase on it earlier. Turns out it's hard to get nurses right now. They're offering tens of thousands of dollars of bonuses and everything to travel and be in other states even. We haven't been full staff in the medical unit in about a year and a half. It's costing more to get nurses. Medical supplies itself went up 50% last 12 months. Pharmacy has went up. The number of inmates that we've had due to some COVID illness and other issues, the ER trips and surgeries are up. And so we didn't have an increase last year. The last increase we had was 2020, but this is a significant, it's a 12% increase. And I have looked at a couple other companies. The thing about Southern Health is A, they've been in our facility a long time, and two, they build in outside pool cost into this. So part of this money is put aside for surgeries, specialty appointments, which we average about 30 a week, and ER and other admissions in Louisville and Nashville hospitals when it's necessary. So this is a significant increase, but if you look at the staffing, I've looked at all the staffing plans, and we negotiated it down about 7% from what they started for this increase. So I feel like it's necessary because everything's going up, and it is difficult to find any medical staff right now. So we did meet extensively over this, and we negotiated down to this 12%. So we may choose to put it out and do brand new bids in the next calendar year, but I think this is the answer at this point for our operation.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. Yes, sir. Squire Gorman?
Judge, I'm glad we have a full courthouse today so you can kind of see the juggling act that everyone has to do, and so that most people never think about Jailer Harmon. Thank you for your hard work on this. So the first $1.1 million of everyone's tax dollars goes to provide medical care, which we are obligated to do for our guests at the jail. But it is one of those things, everything keeps going up, including the medical care that we have to provide for the inmates at the jail. And when you really look at those numbers, that's what's eye-opening of the juggling I have to do. Again, $90,000 a month, but it is $1.1 million per year just for that one line item of the jail. But I know you're doing your best to keep that cost under control, but thanks for the hard work, but it is eye-opening for sure.
That is a huge cost, but I think very few people recognize the fact that the jails and the county are responsible for medical, dental, and psychological care for every one of our inmates, and those costs are significant. Matter of fact, I think a lot of people just, each time they need dental care, they go get arrested.
I don't have any comment on that, Judge.
I understand. Anyway, yeah, just for the record, Don, I didn't say that. Actually, I don't care. Anyway, we appreciate the hard work that it takes just to get it down to that level. I know where we started out, and I appreciate all your hard work, Jailer Harmon.
Judge,
Yes, sir?
just another comment about the cost or expense that we incur with our jail inmates. Our state representative, one of Michael Meredith, has introduced a bill which would, if it's passed into law, right now the inmates that are arrested on a felony and spend time in our jail, sometimes months, and they wind up pleading out their charge.
For time served?
For time served.
Yeah.
We eat the bill for that. Right. So this bill will put that back on the state.
If it passes.
If it passes. So contact your state representative. Let them know we're in favor of this.
I'm hopeful that it will pass, but not optimistic that it will pass. What's your feeling, Jailer Harmon?
So we've spent a lot of time, jailers from all over the state have spent a lot of time with the state representatives lately on several bills. That's one of the most important. The fiscal note on that was like 76 million. So I don't know as written that it will pass, but that's something that the Kentucky Jailers Association Board of Directors, we're all working hard to get that passed. But also there's a bill in front of them right now to increase the Department of Corrections, the state per diem, which hasn't been increased in like 15 years, by $4. That increase will help offset some of these increases on food and medical. And then there's another bill that has to do with increasing or paying a per diem for time credited, not the whole time, but if you are in for 2 months and they give you 3 or 4 days of credit, then there's another bill going after that per diem as well from the state. So we're looking forward to some of those passing.
Please make calls to get those passed, particularly that. Do you happen to remember the House bill number?
I've got it on paperwork at the House, but I do not have it in front of me.
Representative Meredith will be happy to share that with us.
Who's against it, Judge?
The state. State corrections. I mean, they'd much rather pass on the cost to us than to share it. No other.
For the record, everybody, like Doug said, nice, it's a large crowd here with us today. That is a mandated expense to each county to maintain and operate jail systems. So
Yeah.
we have no choice. It's on us.
Right. Right. Most everything that's passed on to us is something that's mandated, and in this case, like in most cases, unfunded. But I appreciate all the hard work you go to, Jailer Harmon, to keep those costs as reasonable as you can. Thank you. Okay. And no other comments or questions, please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McCourt.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the next item is to approve emergency determination in the amount of $7,231.34 to Felt's truck repair for repairs to the stormwater management dump truck.
So,
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion, questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McCourt.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. You're right. Okay. The next item is to grant authority to advertise for proposals for the 2022 litter education abatement grant cleanups for litter along public right-of-ways in Warren County, excluding interstates, parkways, and other city or state contracted roadways.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire Payne. Is Mr. Reagan still on here? Okay. Anything you want to add to this, Mr. Moore? This is about the cleanup litter abatement program
litter abatement.
along the public
So
right-of-ways.
Yeah, so essentially what we're doing is, we've kind of taken a varied approach to collecting litter in the county. We've used inmate services, we've used some private folks, and basically what this is a renewal and a new RFP for the private contractor side of litter pickup. We've adjusted the billable rates, we've adjusted some of the deliverables we want from them, so we're going to put this back out. Due to COVID and the limited ability to get inmate crews out for quite a period of time, we have a pretty large increase in cost for litter pickup. And unfortunately, COVID didn't seem to make the litter across the county get any less. It just seems like it escalated. So this is just our first attempt to get some new numbers in, see if we've got any other contractors interested in this, and then we'll probably have to come back and negotiate with them some. We'll bring it back to you guys to give you an idea on what we're thinking long-term.
Are we still using inmates, Johnny?
In a limited capacity. Stephen, I believe, does have a deputy dedicated to just litter pickup. It's definitely not as much as he'd like to get out because he's suffering the same staffing shortage as the rest of us are. I'm hopeful that in the next year we'll increase the presence of inmates on the roadways, but in the short term and probably forever, really, we need to still have a private contractor side to assist in that, just so we can cover more ground. So, and this is something that our litter abatement funds allow us, and that's a eligible expense that we can use those grants for. So that's where we're choosing in this budget cycle to put a little more, little focus on. So, right.
Do you have anything to add, Chandler Harmon? That pretty much covered it, didn't it?
We've got one crew out right now, Judge, and if we could ever get full staff, we had 5 pre-COVID. And we went through a period where we didn't have staff and you couldn't use state inmates unless they were vaccinated. So I'm hopeful towards the middle end of this year, we'll have some more crews out picking up trash and doing other community projects.
All right.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McCourt.
Yes, ma'am.
May need you again, Mr. Moore. Approve quote and contract with Holland Inc. for reduction of remaining natural wood debris and remediation work to complete cleanup of illegal open dump at Clay Street. It's 2021 open dump cleanup grant, Kentucky Department 75%, and Warren County is 25%. Mr. Moore.
This is real short. This is essentially, we do dump cleanups usually 20 to 30 a year. This was one that we got almost to the end and we needed to do some open burning. City of Bowling Green's fire folks said that we're not allowed to burn there. The only way that we can get rid of this material is using an air curtain burner, which is dig a hole and there's a machine that sits over the top. And it's like the only person locally, really regionally, that has them right now is Holland has one. Holland Inc. has one. Most of them are out helping clean up tornado debris in other parts of the state.
Yeah.
So I've reached out to Jim Ed Holland, and they're going to come to do us on just an hourly basis for time and materials and just get this one pile taken care of. And that's one of the things we needed to close out our dump grant for that
Report.
particular year. Yeah. So this will be done in probably 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll be ready to close that dump.
Okay.
cycle.
Thank you.
Motion.
We have a motion by Squire McWhorter to approve, second by Squire Young. Any questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, item number 40 is to approve the second quarter financial report for the Warren County for the fiscal year 2021-2022.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne, second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or question? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 43, approve emergency order, non-protunct for contract services for temporary logistics, intake, and inventory management of tornado relief donations to Mr. Bill Ferris. Have a motion to approve. Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire Payne. Discussion or questions? Let me just go ahead and say, so y'all know, recognize this, since you're going to call my hand on it anyway, item number 47 is a duplicate, so we won't be taking action on number 47. Okay, we have a motion and a second. I didn't even throw you under the bus this time, Brenda.
I know it. Thank you.
I don't see how she keeps up with what she does.
Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 44 is to approve the 211 report for January 2022. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Payne. Discussion? Questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne. Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes,
Esquire
ma'am.
McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 45 is to approve moving the regularly scheduled fiscal court meetings for the next 3 meetings. We're trying to get these spread out appropriately and miss all of the meetings in Frankfurt and so forth. This is to approve moving the Friday, February 25th to Monday, February 28th at 8 a.m. and change the March 4th, 2022 to March 14th at 8 a.m. and change March 18th, 2022 to March 21st at 8 a.m.
So moved.
Motion by Squire Payne. Second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we skip number 47. 48,
And
grant,
Judge, sorry, for one clarification, those all are at 8 o'clock for those three that you.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Item number 48 is to grant authority to advertise for warehouse logistics services coordinator and manager, tornado relief donations. Item number 43 was the emergency order that we entered into back at the beginning of the emergency, and now we're going to bid it out so that now that we've had a chance to breathe. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion by Squire Gorman, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence. Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Will the treasurer please present the claims to the court?
General Fund, $3,926,860. Road Fund, $182,079. Jail Fund, $663,110. Stormwater Fund, $39,976. E911 Fund, $14,526. And ARPA Fund, $1,122,082. If you have to answer any questions.
Make a motion, we pay the claims as submitted.
Motion by Squire Young to pay claims as submitted. Second by Squire Gorman. Any further discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young. Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I realize that all the department heads, I don't want to tie y'all up too awfully long. I know you need to get back to work, but I've got some people here who would like to speak on the speak in regard to proposing a county leash law. Stephen and Pam Barnett are here from 522 Marble Gate Circle, Alvaton, and would like to address the court.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Pamela and myself appreciate the opportunity to bring this matter before you. We recently moved from Ohio. I myself grew up in a rural community in Ohio, lived on a farm for much of my youth, and have always had a great love for animals, working animals, farm animals, and so forth. One of the greatest cornerstones of English jurisprudence is that a man's home should be their castle. In years past, you could go into the castle, raise the drawbridge, nobody could get close to you. You could get the boiling oil, pour down on anybody that tried to attack your peace. But with the recent change in the subdivision of agricultural land, especially in our part of the community, we've seen a plethora of pets that are not given proper care by their owners. My wife and I have had to go to the FedEx office on many occasions because the neighbors' dogs are unrestrained. We were a little surprised when we researched the issue and found that there were no leash laws in Warren County. And we understand when you're living in a highly agricultural area, as Warren County has been for many, many decades, animals aren't really a problem. In fact, Daniel Boone said it was time to move when you could see the smoke from your neighbor's chimney. Well, we don't have that option anymore. So we see that in the Alwood community, and we have people that come to visit that can't get out of their vehicles because of being accosted by large dogs, not small dogs, but large dogs. They have come into the garage and taken shoes and other items. I mean, dogs are dogs. I mean, you know, they don't read. And we hate to see any animal restrained, but there has to be some way to put some, and I hate to say this, some teeth into the animal control, because without that, it's like the Wild West. You just have to take the matter into your own hands, and that does not lead to good relations between neighbors. Most people would rather you beat their wife than their dog, or throw a rock at her or anything. And yet, you know, they're dogs. They don't have the ability to reason things out. And so it would seem that it would be high time to at least put some information available to keep the dogs restrained on your own property. You know, we're not asking for, you know, a 20-foot stockade fence with razor wire on top, electrified. In fact, one of the neighbors mentioned that they put some electric fencing up, and I'm like, I would hate for a child running after a ball to run into an electric fence. I mean, it'll shock the snot out of you. So we don't want that. You know, children have enough problems right now without putting any constraint upon them. But we would just like to bring that to the court's attention, that if we could have some measure that the owner would actually be responsible to keep their dogs constrained. And the trouble with some methods of doing that, like the electric fence, is the batteries wear out on the collar. Or the fence goes out because it's hooked to a ground fault outlet and there's a surge or something, it shuts off. And so it may be days. Now during the pandemic, when everybody was home 24/7, that was, it was better. But now that people are going about their business and they're leaving their dogs unattended, that's where the problem issues. So that was basically our thought in coming to address the court, and we're glad we could do that this morning. We had it on the agenda in December, but we had a lot of other pressing issues to cover then. So we appreciate your patience and time in taking care of that.
Well, we appreciate it, and we'll certainly take this under consideration. We have proposed leash laws in the past, and I'm not saying that just because something didn't work one time, you shouldn't try it a second, because sometimes there are good ideas, but we have a lot of other people that we'd have to talk to before we take any action.
Well, we understand, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, and sometimes getting anything changed is like pulling teeth. But, and we have numerous conversations with animal control in that area. Animal control can back that up, the sheriff can back up the call logs and so forth. And we're just tip of the spear here. We're not looking for, you know, any expedition of it. We recognize the rate it has to go at. You have to have readings, first, second readings, so forth and so on, discussion. And we don't want to put a hardship on anyone that has agricultural animals, anyone that has working dogs. I mean, we had a dog that would always put cows up for us. That was that's what he lived for. But we had 400 acres for him to run on. So he was tired. He wasn't out and bored and look, oh, here comes somebody up the driveway, let's see who this is. So that's the reason that we're here, and we hope that we can see something done that would just put some responsibility or some teeth into the recourse that you would have to maintain basically good relations with your neighbors and to protect the safety of the animals and pedestrians that are walking their dogs, and then they're molested because dogs are pack animals. They see another dog, they want to sniff it, you know. So here we go.
I understand.
All right.
And we'll talk with, of course, we'll hear from a lot of people,
Well, yeah, this
pro
is
and
like
con,
a
but
Pandora's
also,
box, I'm sure.
but we need to talk with Humane Society, the animal control people, and everyone involved, rather than make a
No, we don't want
impulsive
no hasty-
decision on something.
No knee-jerk reaction. I will tell you a little bit of history in the area of Ohio where I immigrated from. There was a 3-year-old girl that was killed by a neighbor's pit bull. And until that time, there was no leash laws, no recourse for a dog that was threatening or, some people are traumatized by dogs at an early age. You don't know who's walking down the street. But anyway, the little girl tragically lost her life, and then it was too late. The laws were changed, but by that time it was too late. So if, in the immortal words of Barney Fife, we can nip this in the bud, hey, we're all for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Mr. Barnett.
Judge, can I speak on that?
You can.
Thank you.
Glad to see you again.
Yeah, thanks, you remember me? I was here in December, and I got to come in, and you all were so good to listen about the animal control laws. And what I was upset about is that a Rottweiler and a Pit Bull had been able to run loose in the North Ridge subdivision of about 500 houses for a year, and the neighbors had called and they keep digging out from under the fence, and they were reported aggressive and roaming, and people were afraid of them. And so anyway, I didn't know anything about our laws till my horse got attacked by them in June. And they bit the face and then under here and all of her legs. And the snarling was so bad, it woke me up, but she wasn't up by the barn. And she finally got up by the barn, and I could see the Rottweiler attacking her. And so I had to run out and chase it off, act crazier than the Rottweiler to get it to leave. But, all I had was a baseball bat, and I really didn't know what was going on. But the animal control had been called over and over again, and they couldn't do anything because the dogs would be gone when they'd get there, or they'd be back on their property. And but they were. She did say that they were aggressive when she saw them on their property. But and then the animal control goes home at 4 o'clock, and that's it. And so that's why I was asking, why wasn't something done, at other times? And a deputy has to be called, I think, at night, and that's another charge of like $90 or something. And then the animal control, every time she had to come out, of course, the county was paying. I'm not sure about how the night is set up, but she said she went home at 4. She would leave a notice on the door, but the guy never called. And he just didn't really care because it kept getting out. And I started thinking, if there's 500 people in that subdivision and half of them have dogs, that's 250 dogs out there. And they're so close the houses are now. And then I found out some of them have 3 or 4 dogs. And so it's just chaos. I didn't know how bad it was that if she hadn't gotten bitten, nothing would have been done, the horse. And like the little girl, I'm glad it wasn't a child or adult, but they can't get out of the car, they say. They're tearing up the trash, but mainly aggressive, running after other dogs. And one lady said she threw treats trying to get this dog off of another dog, and then her husband opened the door and their dog ran out, and then they attacked her dog. So it's just, I never heard of such stories. And this one on Detour, I would like to read. They put it on Nextdoor app. And he said, it was the nicest email. I don't think I've been this nice, but he said at the beginning of the year, he was going for a walk on Massey Road, and he lives out in Detour. And he was approached by a barking German Shepherd, and he crossed the road to avoid the dog, but the dog ran after him. And he was wearing jeans, but he was attacked. And I don't think you can see the picture that well, but it was like 5 bites. And he said the owner did pay for the medical bills, luckily. But now he's gone a few more times and trying to ride his bike, and he's attacked every time he goes out riding his bike by a snarling dog. And now, the other day, he said he was attacked by 5. And he said if you could just keep your dogs up, you know, on your land. But then we run into people putting them on too short of chains. They chain them up, and someone else was writing that this one dog is just left on a chain and nobody pays any attention to it and sits in the water, you know, and just pitiful. So there's so many things that we don't think about, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I didn't have any problem with it. But I thank all of you all, and I know how much you care about our community. And I've asked people to start coming with their stories or things that are happening, so we have more knowledge of is a priority. So thanks again.
All right, thank you.
And thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. I also have a Mr. Meredith Johnson who's asked to speak. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
Good morning. It's been about 20 years since I've been up to fiscal court, and I am amazed at the technology and the way you've reworked this room. It's very functional.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Past president of the Bowling Green League of Bicyclists. We have about 200 members. There is another bike club, and it has about 200 members. And I've had 3 dog bites. One, I was out by fairgrounds, running down that hill pretty fast, and I could hear this dog coming up behind me, and he knocked me off my bike, and I was out for about 45 minutes. And dogs scare me, and I always like when you talk to, or you see an owner, he'll always say, "Oh, he doesn't bite." And you know, you can carry mace or whatever you want to, but all the economic growth we've had in Warren County and all the houses that we've got in Warren County has made a big, big difference. Walked over to the health department and I said, "Ma'am, how many dog bites do y'all have in a year?" 1 a day. And that's just the county. I haven't gotten to, you know, the other parts. I wonder what the population of animals are in Warren County. Thank you. Appreciate what you do, and have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. That's all of the people who asked to speak, but is there someone else that would like to speak on this issue?
Judge, I would like to ask the sheriff a question.
Yes, sir. Sheriff Hightower? Is there a $90 charge to come to someone's house at night? That was the first question
No, there's no such charge for that. We have 2 animal control personnel that work for us. They do a wonderful job. Lisa's here with us right now, back over here. We have Gene Shy. They both work part-time, but together it's 40 hours a week or more. And so they do answer a lot of calls and complaints. And as the gentleman alluded to, the Warren County's changing. Our dynamics are changing. The neighborhoods are coming up. It used to be a much more farm, agricultural, rural setting, and so we do respond to a lot of complaints. And I can go on and on about that, but I think you've heard the gist of it. But we do not charge after hours. If we don't have animal control, we will have a deputy respond. Okay. And they typically, if it's something that needs immediate action, they'll take care of it immediately. If not, they'll put it in the CAD system, the computer automated dispatch center, and then it will be dispatched out for our animal control the following day.
Did you have a different question, Squire Young?
No, basically just
He
how big
answered.
a problem is this, or how much time is dedicated to this problem with the sheriff's department?
Yeah, we get a lot of calls on these issues, and you know, I get videos sent to me. There was a lady who had she put her little dog out in the fenced-in backyard, and there was 10 dogs that would come and bark and bark and bark and urinate and defecate all over her yard. We talked to the person who we thought had the animals. He allowed us to trap them. We trapped several of the animals because he said they weren't his. We took them to the Humane Society. He showed up a few hours later and said, no, you all trapped my dogs. The other ones aren't my dogs. And so, and we really couldn't do anything. There's no recourse for it. And I don't know if and I don't want to speak on behalf of anybody in here, but I don't know if it's a leash law we need or a nuisance animal law that we need or some ordinance of that nature that may allow us, if we have reoccurring issues or an issue with a dog running at large.
And that's a question that comes to my mind as well. I get a lot of complaints in my neighborhood and Mr. Johnson's neighborhood, and we're in the middle of the city. So they already have a leash law. Leash laws don't stop aggressive dogs from attacking other dogs or individuals or bicyclists. But it does take some initiative to give you the authority to take action. So
right. Yeah, we just don't
we
have
need to
any.
look at
We have no authority right now to really do anything. And we just repeatedly go back out and ask them to keep their dogs up. And leash laws, like you allude to, it may be like stop signs. It's kind of a suggestion that we hope. But yeah, yes, speed limit signs. But there is some enforcement. If we're there, we see it, and we can take some type of enforcement action.
It makes the owners more conscious of their responsibilities of dog ownership.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of the same problems inside the city where we've had a leash law for 25 years. But there must be some answer to it. I don't know what it is until we start investigating how we can best address those type of issues.
Sure, you see the same people repeat.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
So
we see a lot of the same exact addresses repeatedly over and over. I mean, Lisa can tell you, she's probably been in some houses, 8, 10, 15 times. She'll leave a note for the people. The police call her about their dog run out there at work. They get home. They never come back. They never call her. The dog's out the next day. It might be chasing people riding their bikes or neighbors. And we have had several reported dog bites throughout this year. Not one a day necessarily for us. The health department, I'm not sure what their, if those are. Yeah, and those may be homeowners having their own dog bitten. I don't know. But as far as us and aggressive, we do deal with that. We have had several people bit this year. Several of them have had to get treatment on that, and so but we do have repeat people.
When a dog is taken to the Humane Society by your people, is there a charge for that dog to be picked up by the owner?
You want
There's the authority in the county.
How are you all doing? I 100% agree. When Brett and Lisa talked to me about this, there is a charge, to get back with your question. So if the animal is brought in as a stray and it's being reclaimed and it's not altered, there's a $50 charge for that. If the dog is altered, it's $20. Reason for that difference years and years ago is having an animal spay or neuter definitely helps with aggression, with roaming, with things like that. So that was implemented years ago. But I do agree that putting stuff in place is not a foolproof thing. There's nothing we can put in writing that will stop all of these issues. And they're all very legitimate complaints, but from a numbers perspective and what we see that I don't think a lot of people, our shelter averages about 11,000 animal intakes a year. Just to put that into perspective, Nashville Humane took in 2,200 the entire year. So we're taking in 4 times, sometimes 5 times. Louisville was about 6,000. So I have watched.
How do you figure that? I mean, how does that happen? How do you rationalize?
Our area is growing so much, and we don't have any ordinances. Warren County is one of the very few counties that does not have a county ordinance in place. Almost every single county in Kentucky that is comparable in size does. So I do think the issue that I see is not our animal control officers. I've been at the shelter 23 years. They're truthfully the best officers I've seen ever do this job. They genuinely care, but the problem isn't that they're not doing their job. It's that there can be no accountability. We have, for example, we have one dog at the shelter right now that's a city dog, but it's been impounded 22 times in 2.5 years. So if there's no accountability.
They pay that fee and get the dog
Yes.
back each time.
So
Yes.
my question now is, you don't have okay, if I come and get my dog today and you charge me $50,
Right.
next week my dog is back down there, it's still,
So on a second impound, if it's picked up by animal control, it's a mandatory spay neuter. So, and we get a lot of flack from that. I'm sure you all have gotten calls over that over the years. But it's proven, and why should the county or the city foot the bill for Joe Smith's German Shepherd going and making puppies 25 times last year? So people don't understand that, and I get it from their side if they want to breed it. Everybody says, do you hate breeders? No, I don't hate breeders, but irresponsible breeders. There are responsible breeders and irresponsible breeders. So there comes a time when we can't continue to foot that bill for irresponsible people, sending animal control out on one house 10 times with no accountability. Amy and I talk all the time, and they do such a great job at the county attorney's office, but we have court case animals that we house for 7 months. We know that animal's not going to go back to that owner. There has to be something that Warren County, we're the leader in so many things, but this is nothing that's going to be decided in this. It just needs to open up discussion and.
Just a quick question. We have a no-kill shelter, which doesn't mean that in an absolute sense, but
Right.
it's a whole
No
lot better.
animals are euthanized
Whole lot
for
better
breeding.
than it used to
Right.
be. But an animal that's been in there 22 times, why has it not been put down?
It's not aggressive. It's not aggressive at all. It's just an escape artist, and it's a nuisance animal. So comes into people's property, gets in the trash. They just can't contain it.
do y'all have the ability to raise that fine
We don't right now, but we should. I mean, there just has to
on
be.
recurring animals?
We could, but that would be something we'd need the city and the county's, backing of that, because you all are the ones that are going to get the complaints. We're kind of the ones that are blamed when Lisa or Jean or the city animal control goes and picks up animals. We're the ones that get the brunt of it because they think we pick them up. Hey, why did you pick up my dog? It would have come back home. Well, yeah, it would have come back home, but maybe after it did all of this other stuff while it was out. No leash law is going to keep an animal at home, but if there was some sort of accountability, that they were able to enforce.
That's the best accountability I know of for people like that.
Right.
It's cost them more, so, yeah.
As far as aggressive dogs, if say one bites somebody and you guys get it, they can't just come and get that dog, can they? And
It's up to animal control. That's a case by case. A lot of bites are not necessarily an aggressive dog. My dog bit the utility guy. My dog is, I think, a great dog, but
Your dog
but
bites.
he bit him on your property. though.
right,
So that's
right,
what
in my backyard, and
Right.
it was just little, but it scared him, and the minute he bit, he ran. He knew he did something wrong, and not all bites are like that, but bicyclists, things like that, and it's those repetitive dogs. Do I think you all can go out on my road, Old Zion Church Road, and tell everybody there they've got to keep their dog on a leash? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. But if there's accountability, if their dog is continuing to do these types of things, it might make it a little bit better. But there has to just be some sort of discussion started. Warren County is so advanced in so many things, and I think we're one of the best shelters out there. But just to have some guidelines, and it's kind of embarrassing for me when people say, because they call us for so many other things, and they're like, can you share your ordinances with us? And I'm like,
Yeah, we don't have it.
we don't really have that, because we share everything else with them, so it's.
We're going to look into this. Of course, first thing that came to my mind was the last time we considered a leash law. And I
remember that.
I can remember 2 or 3 farmers that stood up and said, hey, you handle it the same way we always handle it.
Right.
The 22.
Right,
And
right.
once they attack your animals, that's what made me think of it. Once they attack your animals, you're entitled to be able to defend your property.
Right.
And That's the answer and I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying it's a fact of life that's done
You know, and
throughout.
back then also, I remember this room being filled with farmers, and their concern was we were gonna ask them to have their pigs and cows under shelter.
Right.
You know, and that's not, we need to say dog, cat, it's as easy as that. They do have animal, livestock things, but not as much.
I just want to say, Mike, I remember when, like 2005,
It's been like 15 years
2006,
ago.
and there were a lot of, but now, we get a lot of complaints from farmers complaining about people's dogs. And most farmers, they don't want to have to just pull out their gun and shoot it. They would like the dogs to stay at home.
Sure.
They
That's
don't
what
want to
everyone
have to shoot somebody's
prefers.
dog. They would rather us, issue a citation where they have to pay a fine or do something different with their dog. So we do, a lot of our complaints come from farmers on dogs running loose. So just want that to be known.
Did you have something, Ms. Barnett? Did you? Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, I worked for Montgomery County, Ohio for many years, 25 years. And when the leash law first went into effect.
Would you mind coming to the, that's okay. That's all right. Just,
Tony can't hear.
I apologize. When the leash law first went into effect, there was a small fine when their dogs got out. However, after that incident when the child was mauled to death, they started making it accumulative. So when they would pick up a dog for the first time, it'd be $100. After that, it was $100 more, so it's $200. So real quickly, when, like the gentleman said, once money is put into a person's mind that if I don't keep my dogs where they're supposed to be, they recognize that they're going to have to pay a fine. And as maybe the first $100 won't hurt so much, but 4 or 5, 22 times, you're getting to be a pretty large ticket there. So people do think about that more often. And something that you mentioned there that I wanted to say is that when you live in a subdivision, you want to be on good relationships with all of your neighbors. Sure. You can't pull out a gun and say, if you don't keep your dog in your yard, I'm going to shoot it, then what are they going to do? We've already had our neighbor threaten us because we've complained to him that the dog won't stay in their yard. And so, now I'm afraid to live in my house because if we see the dog and I complain to him, then what's going to happen to us? So there's a lot of ramifications here. As my husband said, you can't just make a knee-jerk reaction. It's going to take a lot of research. But as you see the county growing, and you see all these subdivisions going up, and like the young lady said, all of these dogs everybody has a dog for the most part, and they don't take care of them by keeping them under control. It puts everybody in danger.
Okay. What I was thinking, I don't think it was $90, I think it was $100. No, that's a joke. What I remember the deputy was paid for, or I was told, when he went out and told them that my horse had been bitten and served papers or something, and he had to find out the name and the address. They had no record because he had never called the animal control back, and so it was something like that. I don't know.
okay.
You can ask.
One point I forgot.
Yes, sir.
If you're bitten with a dog, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Has he had his shots?
Right, yeah.
Very hard to find that out. And secondly, you got to find the dog. And the third thing, you want to go to the hospital and you want to get a shot for yourself. And we haven't talked about that. But when we have a dog bite, we call the sheriff's department and they dispatch and come right then. Any questions?
Thank you.
Judge, I think
Yes,
there's been a lot of good discussion today, and it's obviously something we as a court will take up and look at. It sounds to me a lot of accountability issues with owners of certain animals are probably the biggest issue with this, but I'm sure Amy and good heads, and I'd like for Lori to maybe sit in on that, initial discussion. That would be tremendous for us to maybe look at something in the future, but it's not an easy fix. And anything we put together, any kind of ordinance we put together is not going to fix all the problems.
No.
But you start putting penalties to those who are offenders, like Squire Young said, you're going to get in somebody's pocketbook, you usually get their attention and things get fixed, is how it usually happens. But I can assure those who spoke that we will take this matter up in a judicious and timely manner to make sure we do something that's good for everybody.
I think I would certainly be not opposed to raising those fees, like on second offenders, third offenders, whatever. I think that would be something to start.
All righty. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you coming in, and we'll talk a little later about this. And we have Sheriff Hightower.
I'm good, Judge, thank you.
Nothing? Okay. All right.
Hey, I want to thank Chris. Where's Chris in here? Chris over here. Went on a great event last weekend, the father-daughter dance out there. It was really a full day out there. One of the parking spots we had in the whole place.
Well, cool.
It was, so great job. Thank you, Chris.
As always. Ms. Yates.
Thank you, Judge.
Jailer Harmon.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Comer.
We had over 3,000 people at the event last week, so.
Wow.
Making sure next year we're going to move to a bigger venue, we're going to move it over to the tennis center, so.
Wow.
It was a great event, we had a multitude of sponsors, we had great volunteer turnout. You've never been to one of those events, it's a great event. It's a dad-daughter dance, we have uncles and big brothers and grandpas and even moms and families.
Chris, I hear everything you're saying, but nobody at home can hear you. So if you don't mind, I'm sorry. You get on that microphone. Maybe we just need to put a microphone in the back here.
No, the dance is a really cool event. Last week we had our 22nd, I've been here going on 22 years, so I was the first DJ of the dance. It's amazing that it's been going for 22 years. We had 22 girls and their dads back 22 years ago at Basil Griffin Park in our old community room. And it's grown over the years. And
To 3,000?
to over 3,000. We had yearly sponsorship from the Kiwanis Club of Bowling Green makes that event really possible. Various vendors throughout the county and the community provided food, drinks. We had in excess of over, I think it was 4,000 pizzas, 4,000 pieces of pizza, over 3,500 pieces of chicken nuggets, endless supply of cookies. Everybody has free access. All-Star Photography comes in and does pictures for the families, and they have different options to pick from. And it's just a great community event. We had to take a 2-year break because of COVID, but the public is definitely getting back out in the parks, using our facilities, and absolutely having a great time. So we appreciate your support and that of the community.
Thank you so much, Chris. Mr. Moore?
Let all magic snow and everyone's from the county side, our debris pickup from the tornado is now over. We are just shy or so of 60 days, and we've collected right at about 50,000 cubic yards of construction debris and vegetative debris as part of our debris contractor's scope.
How many yards did you say?
50,000.
50,000.
And can't speak for the city. I don't have their numbers in front of us, but they'll
It's
probably
considerably
be
higher,
3
isn't
or 4 times that. I mean,
Yeah.
it was most of the destruction was in city limits, but we are now done, and our contractors are finishing up their punch list of the last couple things, some stumps and things that were still hanging out there. So they are ending, they are done. The city, I don't want to speak for them, but I would say within a few days they are as well. all of the work that can be done and has been allowed is wrapping up. So I know that there will be calls that some of you all will get from constituents that are saying, hey, I didn't know, but just to let everyone know, we've done our best to notify them through social media, through door hangers on each of these homes in the affected area with, here's the last day to get it going, and here's the numbers to call. So I understand there'll be some rough patch in there, but we're going to work with everyone as they call to see what we can do to assist them. But the contractor is wrapping up and moving away. So
That's great.
Thank you. Josh, if they didn't get picked up, what do we tell them?
I mean, if they did not get the stuff out to the road as requested, they've got a couple options. The one I would strongly encourage them is to reach out to a private contractor to get that removed. And we've got our waste haulers here. I assume there will be phone calls to them as well. They all have some requirements and some limitations on what they can do, but that may be a call if they want to reach out to them about as well. If they get it cut in the right bundles and bundled in the proper size, just know that if they reach out to these guys, and I'm speaking on their behalf, it's going to take a while. And they don't have the size trucks we have, and it may take several pickups before that gets done. And it may need to be something they negotiate on price. And I'll go on and say for the record that their franchise agreements, when you're in a state of disaster, it's not free pickup on these guys' dime. So just want to let the constituent know that they have a couple options. They want to talk to a few people and see what works best for their situation. So.
Any other questions, Mr. Moore? Thanks, Josh. Mr. Pearson's not here, Mr. Puckett.
He's online.
Oh, he is? All right. Hi, Ronnie.
Hi, sir. I had a few things for Frankfurt I had to take care of in the office this morning. I sent out an email to you guys this morning to give you an update, but just some numbers I wanted to pass on. In Warren County, we've had 3,793 applicants to FEMA. We've had 1,826 visits to the old Sears building just for Warren County residents. 50 to 60 a day. So graciously, FEMA has agreed to extend the time there to allow more citizens to come in and register and get assistance if they need it. But it's still busy. We've got a long way to go, but I just wanted to share that with you.
Now, that 3,793 that registered, those are residential, or is that residential and commercial?
That's both residential and commercial from Warren County.
Okay. All right.
Can people still come to Sears building and shop? Is there still, how long is that going to go on, do you know?
Yes, sir. The donation center is still open. I think it's from 8 to 5 on Monday through Friday.
Do you know how long they'll continue to keep that open?
8 to 4.
8 to 4, I'm sorry. It's going to be open probably as long as the disaster recovery center is. We've discussed and trying to determine the long-term plans after the March deadline, and we'll be glad to share that as soon as and they make a decision.
Any other questions, Mr. Pearson? Great job, Ronnie. Y'all doing a fantastic job. I know that you're going to need a long rest after this. If it ever finishes, if we ever get through it.
We've got to get there.
All those numbers are in his email that he sent to us this morning.
Right. Thank you, Ronnie. Mr. Loving is not with us. Miss Lewis, how are you? Mr. Appling? Mr. Peterson had to run out. Mr. Markram had to leave as well. Chief Hamilton? Okay. Squire Payne, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Keep everybody in their prayers on over the tornado stuff. There's still a lot of work to be done.
Sure is.
Still a lot of people in by.
Squire Lawrence?
Thank you, Judge.
Squire Gorman?
All good, Judge, thank you.
Squire Cummings?
I'm going to be real short. Good to see Brenda back after a short sickness. Thank you so much. Good to see your smiling face back to us. Want to make congratulate to my nephew and his wife, Brandon Chelsea, the birth of Teddy this past
All right.
week. So
Congratulations.
exciting times for them. And then on a sour note, I think to acknowledge in public about the passing of Doug Froge. Doug Froge,
I didn't know
soapbox, he passed, and he was so instrumental to a lot of youth in Warren County in helping people to get involved and do soapbox racing. He had been ill for some time and passed away, and we had a celebration of life on Monday, but just want to acknowledge him and his work and the stuff he did for a lot of kids who got a chance to race in the soapbox derby in Warren County. So just want to shout out to his family for condolences.
Certainly, certainly. Our thoughts are with his family, sure.
Thank you.
Squire Young?
Thank you, Judge. I've never done this. This issue with the dog leash or the problem with these dogs. So I'm going to encourage everybody in the 5th District to reach out to me and give me their feelings on this issue. I know it's a big issue.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know, never encouraged people to call me before, but
Well, you never had to.
no.
And you won't have to
Never
this
had
time
to.
either.
Yeah, I'm sure I won't on this, but yeah, please. You know, we need to know what the people, what their feelings are on this issue.
Sure.
And no doubt we're gonna have to do something.
I agree. Squire McWhorter?
Thanks, sir.
Ms. Bessinger?
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Burrow?
Thank you, Judge.
Judge Smith?
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Hale?
Thank you, sir.
All righty, well, our next meeting, even though Ms. Hale has down here on the 25th, is on the 28th, Monday the 28th at 8 a.m. here in this courtroom. It's the next regular scheduled meeting. Before that date, Greg Burrell is going to turn, I don't know, 25?
Close.
His birthday's on the 22nd of February, so I'm going to go ahead and wish him an early happy birthday. And a happy belated birthday to Squire McWhorter, who was yesterday?
Yep.
Yesterday. Yeah, he's old.
He doesn't look it. He doesn't look it.
No, he looks a few years under 82. Good job.
Is there any other business to be brought before this body?
Judge,
Pardon me?
there was one thing, I think, Lynette, didn't you have a real good friend to pass away?
We did. Mark, I don't know for you that know Martin P. Basehart. He's actually a neighbor of Doug's. He lives
Yeah.
behind him. Mark passed away last night.
Mark did?
Yeah.
Illness, it was very sudden, but ask for prayers for your family.
Yeah, she's great.
I didn't know that. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. We have a motion by Squire Lawrence to adjourn, second by Squire Payne. All those in favor, please say aye.